I have adjusted my speech processor and now I sound different. Tell me what you think in the comments below. This is a cup. For as long as I can remember, I have always called and considered this a cup. Some people consider this a glass, or a drinking glass. Most actually do, if I use Google as the medium for determination. Regardless of what the general consensus is, I have always called and considered it a cup. There is no doubt in my mind that I will always call and consider it a cup. This is a cup. For as long as I can remember, I have always called and considered this a cup. In fact, if again I use Google as the medium for determination, most if not all people would consider this a cup. For me, however, the fact that it is narrow at the bottom and wide at the top, and includes a handle and is typically used with a saucer, never influenced what I called and considered it. In fact, the only determination of the difference between the two examples is not what I wholeheartedly believe it is called, but what fluid I typically use either cup for. That is what I put into it. Oh, and by the way, Google also considers this a cup. This is a cup. Most would consider this a mug. The definition is a large cup, typically cylindrical and with a handle and used without a saucer. What I am getting at is, what I consider a cup to be and what others consider a cup to be, may be slightly or even considerably different. Based on the general consensus, I would be wrong. That drinking glass that I call a cup is not a cup. However, I would always be content with simply calling it a cup. If I were a social justice warrior or a typical politically powerful feminist, I might be inclined to inject my feelings about the cup. I might even consider actively changing the definition of what a cup is, to fit my own personal opinion and narrative. I might even consider anyone who attempts to argue with my definition of the cup as someone who is oppressing my opinion, all the while refusing to believe that my opinion is just that, an opinion. That leads me to my point, and I must include a trigger warning with my point. Trigger warnings and disclaimers, because apparently only women have to say they are sorry. This is rape. Rape is a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration perpetrated against a person without that person's consent. The act may be carried out by physical force, coercion, abuse of authority, or against a person who is incapable of valid consent, such as one who is unconscious, incapacitated, or below the legal age of consent. The term rape is sometimes used interchangeably with the term sexual assault. I looked around the internet and asked many people what they considered rape to be, and any site that did not have a SJW or feminist agenda, and every single person I asked whom I know and even all the people I asked randomly had the same basic definition as rape as the one I presented here from Wikipedia. I won't bother going into the fact that nowhere did I get the impression that the some people I asked thought that rape was a male-on-female crime only, nor did I get the impression that the idea of penetration was based only on who was capable of penetration naturally, but who was actively forcing the penetration through physical force or coercion. Only the feminists seem to make that distinction. I will say, however, that to politically powerful feminists, and Twitter feminists and social justice warriors, rape is a lot like the cup. Like my definition of the cup, to feminists and SJWs, this is rape. For as long as they can remember, they have always called and considered this rape. Some people consider this a glance, or a look. Most actually do. Regardless of what the general consensus is, they have always called and considered this rape. There is no doubt in my mind that they will always call and consider it rape. I have no doubt that some people who change their minds the next morning after consent feel ashamed. I know I have. I have no doubt to the fact that their gut feels narrow at the bottom and wide at the top, and includes a handle that is typically being pulled left and right and up and down by some unseen force, and no matter the general consensus they will always consider it rape regardless of what we put in it. That is what argument we use. Because they see rape only as their opinion allows, such as my cup. This is street harassment.
How you doing today? Wow. That's not good.
Smile.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you.
And this is street harassment.
Hey, what's up, big man?
When I was younger, and I was a stud, and had long flowing Fabio hair, I would get harassed on a daily basis. When I say daily, I mean all daily. Women and some men would constantly want to touch my hair, and they always made verbal efforts to coerce me into dating them. One guy even groped me with his foot from under the table at a coffee shop. And I won't even tell you the whole story about those strippers at that bachelor party whom I had to tell repeatedly to go away and stop touching my cock, that there was plenty of other men who would love you to do so. But I am not that guy. I literally had to cut my hair to get those people away. And shortly after the Columbine High School massacre and some bullshit about something called the Trench Coat Mafia, I was similar to look as those jokers, and for months after would get objects thrown at me from cars, and even had to defend myself on several occasions. Now that's harassment. I am not saying there are not annoying people out there. I am saying it's part of life, and I am saying demonizing an entire demographic or a whole group of people is counterproductive and won't solve anything. My overall point is, ladies, if you make a bad choice, and feel horrible about it, everyone is going to understand. But the moment you take serious issues like rape, harassment, and cups, and twist them to include looking, glancing, compliments, men with poor flirting abilities, and drinking glasses, you are twisting a very serious issue into something that does not even resemble comedy on a good day. You are playing with fire, and you are going to get burned.
Hello everybody, I am Sidious here, and I got a little bit of shit to say. You know, the angry cock, he's not satisfied all the time.
What crime did my 3 children do to have their father escorted away to a prison